What's going on, guys? It's DJ. The Pumps and Hoses DLC is out now for Farming Simulator 22, and I'm going to show you everything you need to know about how to get the DLC right now, no matter what platform you play on, what's included with the DLC, and how it all works in the game. So, let's jump right in. First up, let's go over how to get the DLC. It's available right now for all platforms. That includes PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series, PC, Mac, and Google Stadia. It's also included in the Steam and Epic Game Store versions for PC players. Pumps and Hoses DLC costs $17.99 USD by itself, and it is not included in the Year 1 Season Pass, so you will need to buy that in order to use it. Console players are going to want to go to the Microsoft Store or the PlayStation Store on their consoles. Search for Farming Simulator 22 or just type in FAR. That seems to work just fine, and it should be the first thing that pops up. Once you got that, scroll down to your DLC section and scroll over to Pumps and Hoses, and you can click on it from there. It may still say pre-order depending on if your platform has received the update or not, and as you can see here, I'm still a little bit early, but once you've purchased or downloaded the DLC, it'll show up in your DLC section of your game, and you can use it right away. And if you're not sure where that is in your game, go to the main menu, go down to downloadable content, and you want to scroll down to downloadable content right here, or DLC. This is where you'll find it. If you play on PC, there's a few different ways to get your hands on the DLC. First is through the Farming Simulator website, which I highly recommend. Simply go to farming-simulator.com and click on DLC at the top. Scroll down till you find Pumps and Hoses and click on it. And from here, just select your payment method that you want to use and then click purchase. If it still says pre-order like it does for me, you can still purchase it and receive your code, and you'll even be able to use it once it's released. After you click pre-order or purchase, just enter all the information, and of course, make sure you use the code DjGoHam. Follow the steps after that, and you will receive an email with your code, and that email will tell you exactly what to do from there. For those of you using Steam or Epic Games to play Farming Simulator 22, basically you do what the console players do. Either go to search and type in Farm Sim 22 or Pumps and Hoses, and then once you're there, click add to cart and you're good to go. No matter if you like playing on Xbox or PlayStation, PC, or if you game on Mac, or maybe you're playing on Google Stadia, using a DLC like this and all the equipment that comes with it is made 1,000 times way more fun when you got a bunch of friends to play with in multiplayer. And that is where our sponsor for today's video comes in. GPORTAL. They host premium game servers for Farm Sim 22 no matter what platform you play on, even consoles. That's true. I made a whole video on how you can get your own on Xbox and PlayStation a few months ago. Link below. I've been working with GPORTAL as a partner now for over a year and a half, and they've been awesome hosting the channel member server, public server, and even my own personal servers ever since. For Farming Simulator, they've got a few different options, including from 4 players, 6 players, 16, where you can even create your own, which is my personal favorite. So let's select that. Boom! Create your own game server. We're about to make our own game server right now. So step number 1 is creating your cloud. Just select how many players you guys want to be in your server. Maybe it's just you and a couple friends. Well, 4 may be enough if that's the case, but you could go all the way up to 16 if you want to. Then select if you want to add an extra 25 gigabyte of mod space or not. I do recommend this option to anybody wanting to use extra mods, at least more than the base game stuff. By default, it does come with 1 gigabyte, which is pretty good for most things. But in Farming Simulator, like half of that can be taken up by a map, for example, and then when you add 5 or 10 other mods, boom, it's full. So the extra 25 gigabytes of mod space definitely is helpful. Next up, select your duration. Do you want to just go for 3 days? Maybe you just want to get this for the weekend so you and your friends can play and hang out, or maybe you want to go for a whole month. 90 days, 180 days, 365 days. That's a whole year, man. There's options for all of these, and you do get extra discounts as well. 90 days is 10%, 180 days, 15%, and 365 days, that's an extra 20% off of that. That could help out big time. And lastly, choose the location where you'd like your server to be hosted. There's 9 different locations around the world to choose from where you can host it. Whether you want in Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, Dallas, or New York, or maybe you're elsewhere in the world, Sydney, Australia, you got China, Tokyo, Japan, Frankfurt in Europe, and even London, England. They're all there. For me, I live in North Carolina, so the closest one to me was definitely Washington, D.C. Once you've got everything that you need, go back up to the top of the page and click continue, and you're done. If you don't have an account, you can also register with your Facebook account, or you can even do it with Google, your Twitch account, if you got one of those, and even your Xbox Live account, making it super easy to sign up with everything. Check out my video on how to get private game servers for more information on how to set up your own server for you and your friends. That way you can just jump right in and get playing. Also, I can show you how to download the mods, the DLCs that you need, just like pumps and hoses. If you're interested in grabbing a game server for you and your friends, use the link at the top of the description. That way you get 10% off all GPORTAL game servers, even if it's not Farming Simulator 22. They got Ark, Minecraft, Wreckfest, and if you're on PC, you can still get FS 13, 15, 17, and 19 multiplayer servers right now. Thank you to GPORTAL for sponsoring today's video. You guys are always awesome. Now, let's jump into the store and check out all these new tools that we get with the DLC. Once you're in the store, the easiest way to do is go to the very bottom and just go to mods and DLCs, and it should be right here. Now, I have shown off every single piece and how to use it, that type of thing. I've already made a couple videos actually on this, kind of a tutorial series almost. Did a video number 1, which is an introduction, and then video number 2, which introduced you guys to the hose system and how it works, how to hook up multiple hoses together, and then the last video showed the BGA system and how to hook all of that stuff up. In this video, we're just going to do a quick overview of it. The best thing to do if you guys want to watch is check those other videos out. I believe there's well over an hour worth of footage between those 3 videos, and it should tell you everything you need to know. But as a quick refresher, with pumps and hoses, you get this piece right here, the AC 115. This is a compressor, and it helps you keep the hoses in your pumps clean. Then we've got a couple different reels. These will hold different amounts of the hose itself. And we've even got different setups. For example, this one has either a front set of lights or a rear set of lights if you want to carry a lot of different hose out to your field. This one will hold 1.3 kilometers. Then we've got this one, which holds 2 different reels totaling 1.7 kilometers. Again, front or rear edition. And then we've got this version right here, which is only a front version and holds 0.4 kilometers. But this one's a little bit different. So with this one, it has got a little bit of a manure tank in it as well, and it's used as a buffer so that you have constant liquid manure delivery. Definitely helps out a little bit. Then we have 4 different pumps themselves. So we've got the 100, the 300, the JC450, and the PW121. At the end of the day, all of these are basically identical in how they work. You either set these within a fill trigger of slurry or digestate, or they actually hold said slurry or digestate, and then they pump it to wherever you need it. They will also each have an individual set amount that they can pump. For example, the smallest one, the PU100, will pump up to 300 meters away. So if you use more than 300 meters of hose, you're gonna have a bad time, so don't do that. Then we got the 300, which will not only hold 2,800 liters of water, which helps keep everything clean and keeps the hose system flushed out, but it will also run 1,000 meters. So it'll run half the way across a map. Then we've got the JC450. This one has a wheel setup, holds 49,000 liters of slurry and or digestate with water included there, and it will do up to 700 meters. So holds up, but it's a little bit different. And then the largest one by far, we have the PW121. Now this doesn't hold as much as the fill tank does, nor can you hook a bunch of these together. It is literally hook it up to the pump, and the other end is hooked into the field, and that's it. This version, however, will go up to 1.5 meter or 1.5 kilometers, which is 3/4 the way across a normal size map. Those are 2 kilometers across. Very, very cool there. Then we've got the injectors or the slurry distributors. You've got the SP8040. Now this has the hose tool already connected, or you can take it off of it, either way. Then we've got the hose tool itself by itself. You want this. Then once you've got that, then you get to pick between these 3 pieces right here. They all kind of do different things. For example, this piece right here, the 8040, it's just a normal injector, which is kind of nice. And these other 3, you've got 2 that are 12 meters across, and then you've got 1 that's 9 meters. This is also a cultivator. Kind of makes it nice. Then we've got the water pump. This is enterable, so you can enter it just like a vehicle. And if you put something near it that will hold water, you can directly put water from this pump into whatever the tank is. At the end of the day, this is a mobile water buying station, and that's how it's used. Then you've got the StallCam MSS. This is going to be a, I can't even remember the word to use. Basically, it takes the slurry and it pulls out extra particles from it. I think it's like 10% or something, 5%, something like that. It's kind of neat. Then you got your hose reel, 100, 200, 300, 400, or 500 meters. You get 4 of the 500 meters and it'll span the entire way across the map. Bunch of different colors: black, orange, yellow, red, blue, green, brown, and gray. You're gonna want hoses. And then we got the wrench. This is used to connect hoses together or to pick them up. At the top, it says with an umbilical hose wrench, you can connect hoses together. But you're also gonna need this if you wanna pick up the end of them. Now that you've picked up the pieces, or picked out the pieces rather, that you want, now we need to start setting it up. So first and foremost is going to be the hose system. What we've got is we have the jumbo filled bin. We got that on a 7R, and we've got some other little pieces around. Got my injector on the back, and we've got the tool itself. And we got plenty of hose. I got 600 meters of hose on here, but we're just gonna unwrap one. That's gonna be the green one. So we'll go in, we'll change the direction to unwinding, and we will start unwinding. That's gonna just be dropped on the ground, which makes it nice and easy. Now, I got about 300 meters of hose that I need to unwind. Best thing to do is to watch the count right there. If you're going back to a position, for example. So now we're roughly about twice as far away. So I can turn around, drag it all the way back over here, and we should get close-ish to where we started. Somewhere around there, maybe. And there it is. It has completely unwrapped everything. So take your tool, unfold it, bring it down, get close to that umbilical hose, and connect it. And that is at least the first little step in order to get prepared. So we got that. We're good. We got a bunch of hose undone. Let's head over here and let's plug it in. Got our tool. Come over here, hook up to your tool, get it close to your pump, just like so, and jump in your 7R. Here, we can connect again, and we're good to go. Now we got water in here, we've got digestate, and we are ready to rock and roll. So I'm gonna go ahead and activate that pump. That pump will push up to 700 meters. We're only running 300 meters, so it's not like it's gonna be that big of a deal. We'll lower down. We can even back up a little bit and get ourselves ready to go. There that is. And I'm gonna go ahead and lower the pump. There we go. That kind of gets everything out of our way. Don't worry about running over the hose or anything like that. It doesn't really care too much if it gets run over or not. There's no real reason to worry too much. And it's just gonna drag itself around. We can jump out of here. We can let it get to work, hire a worker, do what you need to do, jump up in the air, and you can actually watch the hose going around. It's using the slurry and the water coming out of our pump, and it is, well, dragging the hose around, because it is, in fact, pumps and hoses. And these are the pumps and hoses used. And as long as you don't get too far away or run out of hose, for example, well, you're fine. I would recommend, if you guys are running a 700 meter run, like this one, for example, you can either go in a 200 and 500 meter option, or maybe a 300 and 400 meter option, something like that, and you'll be good to go. I would always recommend using the longest run going from your tool, and then try and use it from there. Also, as you can see, it has come undone, because this can happen. We've got a bit down here where it's just kind of stretched itself to about infinity and beyond. Even though there's a little bit left, obviously things like this, they still run into a few little bits here and there. So we'll kind of grab it, we'll extend it out a little bit, we'll pull, that way we've got some extra room, and we'll bring it back over and hook it back in. Nice and easy. If you get too far away, it ain't gonna just drop itself, it will let go. So be ready for it to let go. Speaking of letting go, over here, we got a guy, drop it down, hire the worker, and I get back to work. Super easy. Other than pumps and hoses, there's kind of another DLC hidden within that, and that is the BGA system. This is a pretty neat setup because you can see here, we've got our main fermenter in the middle. However, all the way around, you got your liquid manure tank, you got an agitator in there, the gas torch, we got that. We got the BVIO, liquid manure tank, everything around. It knows that it's there, but I individually placed all this stuff around. And I'm going to show you how to build it up real quick and what each thing does. So starting off, you need to go into productions and factories. In here, we need to choose one of these 3 pieces of equipment first. You either need to get your fermenter 20M, the 30, or maybe you want to go right in the middle with the 26M. We are going to do just that. We're going to go right in the middle and place this down. This is the fermenter. It's the first building that you need when buying your biogas plant. Inside various materials, fermenting into methane and digestate. And that's all it does. But it's a good thing. It can make you some money too. I would also recommend turn on free build because it's going to place down a lot of stuff, like painting wise, that you don't want. And I don't want. So put it down. There you go. Once you've done that, you'll get this info screen. Biogas plant, root building created. Sweet. Now we got that. Now I could place down a bunch of these if I wanted to. As long as I'm within, I think it's 100 or 150 meters, you're good. But for now, that's all we need to place down. Now we could choose one of these guys right here, the solids dosage equipment. So these are used to feed various materials into the fermenter of the BGA. So do you want a smaller one? This will hold 30,000 liters. We've also got one that'll do 60 or 60 again. Yeah, 60 again or 150. You throw a little bit on each side and just go for it. Or you could go with my favorite, the DOB 115. This can be entered from the side and it actually opens up for you. So it makes it really, really easy to get everything done. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna place it down boop, right there. As you saw, we've got this pipe that comes out. Now I can get within a certain distance of it. And as you see, it's also gonna allow me to place down a second one. And you could totally do that if you wanted to. Like I've got 2 of them, put them beside each other, boom. Now I've just doubled the amount of input that I can go in from 115,000 to 230,000. That, I mean, literally that easy. I can put a third one down if you want. You want me to put a third one down? Okay, you dared me. Boom, now it's 3 times. All right, so we've got the 3 down. Super, super easy there. Now we need to place a few other things down. So here, for example, this is the cogeneration plant. 3 of these come with the DLC. What do these do? Well, they generate electric power and heat from the methane out of the fermenter. So these work as a production chain for that methane. Now, you don't need to place these down if you want to. If there's something else you want to do with the methane, well, it's really easy to do. All you got to do is go in here, don't place that down. Now we've got a fermenter, and you could tell the methane what to do. So right now it's set to spawn, which is going to stay within that BGA production chain of BGA1. However, if I change that to sell, well, it'll just immediately sell that methane, or distributing. It'll do both of those, which kind of makes it nice. You just tell it what to do. Digestate's the same as well, by the way. You don't have to put down a silo for it. You could set it to sell or distribute. I mean, I would set it to spawn because you could actually use it within everything. Plus, this new BGA gives you a new menu, the utilization. So you have your fermenters, it tells you what they're doing, the bunkers, the cogeneration plants, and the torches. Yes, there's torches. Speaking of, we should probably place down a cogeneration plant, otherwise this isn't going to go exactly as planned. So let's place one of those down, we'll spin it around, and be good. Boop, just like so. Now, it knows that it's there. Nice. So that's going to take the methane and turn it into electrical power and sell it automatically. There is nothing else that it does. It just, well, does that one thing. But it does pretty darn good. And then we get the gas torch. Now, the gas torch burns your excess methane produced by a fermenter. You definitely want to make sure you got one of these placed down. You can even place down 2 if you really want to. One's probably going to be enough, but if you're putting a lot of work through, you may want to place more than one down. So that's pretty good, but we got a couple more pieces of equipment. The next 2 types, or the last 2 types rather, one's going to be found in silos. We've got 12 different liquid manure tanks. More or less, we've got 6, just one's got a top and one doesn't. I think the ones without the tops on them look the coolest. So that's what we're going to place down. You can also place as many of these down as you want. In one of my how-to videos, the BGA setup version or video 3, I think I placed down like, I don't know, 10 or 15. No, it was close to like 15 or 20 of these slurry tanks all the way around it. And it worked. It worked perfectly fine. So let's take the smallest version, 606,000 liters right here. And we'll kind of go sideways with it because we still got to do the slurry input on the side here. So we'll place one down just like that and another one right beside it. So now I've got 2 different liquid manure tanks and it knows they're there. And lastly, we need to go back over to production because you want one of these. Well, you don't actually need one of these. This is the stationary separator, or you can do any of these. You can even do a whole building if you really want to. What this does is it separates the solids from your liquids. So, for example, if I place one of these down, which I'm gonna, at the bottom it says separator separates a solid fraction of liquid manure that could be sold or used as bedding or fertilizer, or you could sell it, which is kind of nice. It needs its own trigger and it needs to be near or beside your slurry. So like, for example, this is probably too far away from this slurry tank. So whatever's going into that ain't gonna be able to be used up. But you know what? That's all right, it works. Now, all we need is some input. So we'll go here, we'll open these up, and we'll get some different things in there. So we got 4 different things we can put into these BGAs. Cut sugar beets, silage, manure, and slurry. And it's going to run each one at about 20-25%, somewhere around there. One of the nice things is the slurry goes in a different spot. However, for cut sugar beets, silage, and manure, you're gonna need different places for it. So what I've done is I've grabbed ourselves a 3500. I've got a nice tipper right here. So first bit is going to be slurry, silage, yay! And we've got some manure that we could dump in here now. And of course, some cut sugar beets. Last but not least, we've got some slurry in our AB tanker right here, and we're going to unload that into the BGA as well. Now let's head in and go ahead and activate everything. So we want to make sure that we activate our power plant and that we activate our fermenter as well. That way everything is running. You also want to make sure that your time is moving. Otherwise, nothing's going to happen. Make sure you turn on the separator. If you don't turn this on, nothing's going to happen. So that's nice. We got all that. We're rocking. As a matter of fact, for our testing purposes, I'm just going to delete this back one right here. There's no point to keep that there. And we've got all different types of our fill levels. So as you can see here, we've got different bits of these going through being processed into the main part. And then slowly but surely, these different fill types are being processed as well, shown by the numbers here. And of course, everything's running great. Cogeneration plant is not running, mainly because, well, there's nothing going to it right now. So we need to make sure that everything is working. So select spawning, and then let your time go. And that's kind of what you gotta do. So we'll sit here, we'll run ourselves, I don't know, into the next day. We'll fast forward time super fast, just like that. And now you can see slowly it's starting to take bits away. So sugar beet cut is being taken, silage is being taken, manure is being taken, and slurry is being taken as well. Our power plant is running, so that is good. Cogeneration plant is running perfectly fine. Torches are inactive right now, meaning that our plant is running perfectly fine, and the bunkers are good. So slowly but surely, everything is being taken, everything is being used, and we can jump back down. Sometimes this will stop. There we go. We'll go ahead and turn that back on. That way it can fill up. As I mentioned, the separation right here could be used as manure substitute or as a straw substitute if you guys are using any bedding. But of course, you can always just sell it. Now that is very obviously just a basic like, hey, this is how this works. Hey, this is something else. This is how that works. Obviously, there's a lot more to it than what we're able to show in just this video. Otherwise, it would be about an hour and a half long. And that's about how long video 1, 2, and 3 have been. So again, check those out if you haven't already. Again, I also want to say thank you to GPORTAL for sponsoring today's video. Those guys over there are really great, and they make what I do a lot easier. And they may make what you do a lot easier as well. Definitely check them out. Otherwise, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like, get subscribed if you're new, join the GoHam fam. Make sure those notification bells are on as well. That way, you never miss daily farming simulator videos here on the channel. Are you getting Pumps and Hoses DLC? Or do you already have it and you're playing it right now? Let me know in the comments. Otherwise, hope you have a great day. We'll see you guys later. Peace.